Thanks for mezzying around. Halo Combat Evolved came out nearly 20 years ago, back when dinosaurs ruled the world. It gave you many ways to destroy your foes with weapons, vehicles, and good old melee. Or with such innovations as allies that were around for more than 5 seconds, dedicated buttons for grenades and melee, as well as the lofty regenerating health, things that have gone on to become staples of the genre. How will the game play when you strip out most of its killingest options? Today we ask, can you beat Halo Combat Evolved with only the M6D Pistol?
Well, what exactly does that mean? I'm glad I asked because I love talking to myself. Only the pistol can do damage to enemies. This means melee is allowed as Master Chief thwacks enemies with it.
For further notice, of all the weapons, only the plasma pistol would not be allowed as the Master Chief throws a right hook with it. Other weapons can be fired and used, and grenades can be thrown, but they are not allowed to hurt anything except for myself. If they kill or hurt anything else, it's a checkpoint restart.
I do not control what Marines or other allies do, unless they are in a vehicle I'm driving, in which case I do, and it is not allowed. Vehicles are allowed so long as I am alone, like I am in real life. Save the voice inside my head telling me to blow everything up. Glitches, exploiting, skipping out of bounds are allowed, but not really going to come up because I want to do this as straightforward as possible. This is a challenge, you know? This is going to be played on normal difficulty because I still drink my milk from a bottle, and the difficulty can be changed later if need be. Need will be. Without further ado, we begin on... Our comfy nap is rudely interrupted by those Covenant jerks, so it's time to wake up and get going. And we get forced into a tutorial for bottle drinkers like myself. Soon we find that we are indeed just a floating head as we leave our body behind in the cryotube before we leave. Proceed through the halls without a weapon, in which those crew would just die already so we can have their pistols, but no, they have to be invincible. Over the Marine to the bridge and meet Captain Keyes and ask a very important question.
I need a weapon.
Get the M6D Pistol.
Keep it loaded, son. You'll have to find ammo as you go.
Test it out.
What the hell are you doing?
Die horribly. And let the real challenge begin.
We quickly meet our first enemy, the Grunts, in their natural state of being headshot by the pistol.
Move on to the cafeteria where they're serving lead for dinner. I much prefer brass. We ignore the first Sergeant Johnson as he is busy being a pacifist, then cruise through much of the level. As the first level, most of the enemies are the weakest variants, and though elites can sometimes put up a fight, we're also in a game that's old enough to drink, so their AI is ready for retirement. After some shenanigans with Sam and his twin brother Sam in Cryo, we make it to the end of the level in our first mandatory combat encounter. Everything prior to this was optional and could have been run past, but this group needed to be killed to end the mission. With some Marine help, I exhaust the last of my ammo into the Red Elite and finish it off. This will soon become a very common problem. After tossing this Marine to his death, we head to the next mission, Halo. After crash landing on Halo, we promptly scavenge the escape pod for ammo. Bemoan the fact that this is going to be the most ammo we ever carry across the entire series for this challenge, and head deeper into the foothills to find some Marines to watch them die. We find Sergeant Johnson for the second time, watch him die for the first time, and end up bringing Fohammer a pair of crew, and leave poor Fitzgerald behind early to gun it alone in the Warthog. Since I just played Halo Infinite somewhat recently, the Warthog here controls like it's trying to swim through molasses with freezing wind blowing against it. Down in the tunnel, it's time to bop some more heads, and back up on the surface, it's time to find some more Marines. Repeat this a second time. I could just kill all the Marines, it would save me ammo to go commissar on them. I want to try and avoid things like that, and play the game how someone would normally. Or heroically, or legendarily, or lassoily. This means I run dangerously short on ammo again at the very last group of Marines in the rocks, and pray the sniper rifle Marine does things. Doesn't, so I have to nearly run myself out of ammo again, taking out all the Covenant, then leave without the Marines and the revenge for making me do all the heavy lifting. They were all going to die anyway. At least this time they die without hope in their heart. Because I sure have none facing down the next mission. Speaking of which, it's time to save Captain Keyes in Mission 3, where I dearly wish I could have saved myself the pain and frustration and just capped him in Mission 1. If only.
What the hell are you doing?
Truth and Reconciliation is the first mission to not start you with a pistol, and the only mission in the game to not have a pistol at all. If you're some sort of degenerate who can do couch co-op in this day and age, even respawning only gets you a plasma pistol. So that means we're going to have to go full pacifist on this level. The level that has more mandatory combat encounters than the entire rest of the game. Pillar of Autumn had 1. Halo had 1. Mission 6 has 1.
Mission 9 has 2. Mission 10 has 2. Truth and Reconciliation has between 7 to 10, depending on how you want to count it. And you cannot rely on enemy factions fighting like you can in missions 9 and 10, just in case you can't find a pistol. Lousy keys.
What the hell are you doing?
After a few attempts on normal resulted in me being target practice, I need to change my strategy. I turned on some skulls thinking to give the Marines an edge with them, and instead I loaded. That's what agoraphobia does. After more failures, a new strategy was employed. I put my bottle back, crawled back into the womb, and turned the difficulty down to easy. The most important part of this challenge to me is ensuring that only the pistol does any damage whatsoever. So if I have to rely on easy Marines to get through, that is what I will do. And they did. The accuracy of the Covenant on easy is pathetic, and coupled with their infrequent shots and constant focus on me over anything else, the Marines generally had a pretty easy time of it. My initial group of Marines lasted until the third area before all dying, and I had to stealth cam my way to the grab lift and pick up reinforcements. On easy, this mission floods you with so many extra Marines, not available on the manly difficulties. I think it's something ludicrous like 35 total. It's more than any other mission in the game. Are you kidding me? The reinforcements proceed to kill everything guarding the lift, the drop-off from the Spirit dropship, and the 3 waves of reinforcements from the Truth and Reconciliation. Following that comes the first pair of hunters in the game, which the Marines proceed to tear up with little trouble. I'm honestly shocked how easily they tore through everything. I was thinking I'd have to olay the hunters over the cliff after they slaughtered the Marines, but they got killed real good. With that victory, we head on up, switch in for another Sergeant Johnson, and run into invisible elites. Marines cannot detect invisible elites. Normally, this is a death sentence, but on easy, a sword strike is survivable, even by a Marine, and it marks the elite as visible and very shortly dead, as stealth elites do not have shields in this game. Like Shirley in Halo Wars, and his cloak do not either. The Marines take out some jackals, which I'm certain are hunters on other difficulties, and I have to run helplessly from grunts until I let the Marines into the next room, where they are horrendously slaughtered, and I checkpoint myself after all they're all dead. As I amuse myself with the second dead Sergeant Johnson, I try and find my way forward, only for no doors to work, and run around like a bodiless Spartan 2 until a nav marker opens a way forward somehow. I'm just shrugging here, or whatever floating heads do. Cock eyebrows. Into the hangar bay, a fresh batch of Marines are dropped off, including a 4th Sergeant Johnson. I proceed to play decoy and watch as the Marines humiliate the hunters, taking one down without me even noticing, and a Marine dodging through the shield melee like it's a Dark Souls boss. Two Marines are lost heading up due to impatience, and this is probably where I should talk a bit about how Marines work in Halo Combat Evolved. Marines deal less damage than you, they taper their shots, and have less accuracy than you. Unless you kill enough of them to turn them hostile, in which case all their stats go to normal and you promptly die from perfect accuracy hit-scan weapons like it's Halo Reach multiplayer. More importantly, they also have their own variant of shields in this game called armor. If you've ever been driving the Scorpion, had a Jackal charge shot hit a Marine and watch him explode in blood, but not lose any health, it's because it's hitting their armor. It's almost exactly like Spartan Elite shields, minus the shield shimmer effect and instant kill effect against flood infection forms. This means it also regenerates after enough time. If I'd waited just a bit, they'd have made it, which would have been really helpful for the hell to come. On the ship's bridge is the first Gold Zealot Elite of the game, and he quickly becomes an enormous problem. On normal, he'd have almost triple the health shields the Chief has, and while it's lower on easy, it still proves a daunting prospect when you can't shoot and your allies deal single-digit damage to an enemy with triple-digit durability, and they die in 2 hits. He also has 2 elites and a plethora of grunts as backup, and is required. The total recording of the video ended up being over an hour and a half. A full 1/3 of the runtime was on this room alone. I try many different strategies to get him. I try full frontal charges. I try flanking him. I try luring him out of the room. Wow. I try multiple cowardly retreats to the hangar and freezing him on a loading zone. But find out that the Marines consider it unsporting to kill a frozen enemy. You'll sure be glad when they all get their comeuppance soon. I try hiding beneath the big platform in the center and get grenaded for my trouble. I try to dance with him around. I try to dump him in the pits. Eventually, I settle on running up and hiding next to the display panels next to him. And this causes his AI to bug out and stare at me while the Marines desperately try and fight everything. Which works. Cool. I lose one Marine, but they're all scripted to stay behind and die anyway, so I run past some grunts right outside and move her past some jackals to the holding cells where Keys is located. I flip open the button and watch as the Marines do absolutely nothing, get really confused as I distinctly recall from my poor misbegotten youth that these guys go and grab weapons and start shooting. Well, maybe they need weapons on the ground first. I go to another gold elite into killing the stealth elites and watch as the Marines T-pose for dominance and die horribly. Okay. What I have to do? Oh boy. After some shenanigans and trying to get them to friendly fire the Zealot using Keys as a path blocker fail, because no one tries to move that way, I end up hiding behind the control platform and have them friendly fire him down that way. With some tricky moves after, I also get the two stealth elites dead from friendly fire. Release the Marines, who still refuse to grab anything off the floor and very slowly have to have two grunts left killed by the jackals outside the room. Or Jackal as one somehow managed to kill the other before both grunts fell. Cripes. With Keys now back to being a liability, I watch as the Marines effortlessly tear through everything on the way back out to the bridge, because plasma rifle Marines are insane, and I run into Sergeant Johnson still alive to my utter confusion. It's a little uneasy. Wait, what the hell? You're supposed to die. Yeah, normally any Marines left behind on the bridge get a kill trigger, but I can only presume that they chased after the grunts I ran by earlier, stayed in the hall, and missed the kill zone. Weird. Weird, but helpful, because there's two more stealth elites with swords on the bridge now, and Keys dies in one hit. Has no way to shoot them without killing himself, and seems to be the prime target for the elites.
What the hell are you doing?
Would have saved so much time. After many tries. Whoa, I was so far behind you that I make it through, using the last of Johnson's squad and leaving the man himself behind because he bugged out and wouldn't move. You can't push Marines in this game. With another Johnson inevitably dead on the counter, at 3 now, we head to the hangar, catch a ride, and successfully beat Truth and Reconciliation without the pistol or hurting anything in only 90 minutes-ish. Wait, what do you mean there's more levels? Silent Cartographer is a level that exists in the video game Halo Combat Evolved. It is the 4th mission. I start with a pistol, realize I can look upon Fohammer in the anniversary graphics, and do so until the Marines clear the first half of the beach. Then I remember to hit record. Good thing the stream VOD exists. It's really nice being able to shoot things again. I finish the back half of the beach and hop in the Warthog, and don't really gun it because I have to avoid running things over. I try to skip into the underground section, but for some reason there's a bunch of grunts and an elite in the way. So I have to take the detour to the security station. I take out my revenge on the level 3 here and get some good killings out. Enjoy humiliating the sad, pathetic state of Halo Combat Evolved hunters. Get my comeuppance. Ow. Struggle to hit invisible elites and walk back, then drive back. I take a leisurely stroll down to the map room, hit a button, and take a surprising amount of time coming back up, because the quality of aiming is poor way back in yesteryears, and I just came off of playing Halo Infinite, where I can actually hit things I aim at. Nothing interesting really happens until I make it back to the entrance. I just sort of saunter over to the Pelican. Hop in. Get forced out. Hop back in. And fly off to the next mission. Once more, I start with a pistol and begin the amazing work of actually shooting things. Boy, do I love shooting things. I haven't shoot this big golden elite on a bridge. Nice to get some revenge. Please ignore the one on silent cartographer I didn't show. He was a jerk and doesn't deserve camera time. In the next room, I successfully managed to stealth through the sleeping grunt section. Both of them. For the first time ever, despite playing this game for hundreds of hours. Next up, Mjolnir Gear Spartan 2. After them is the valley floor, where I ignore the 5th Sergeant Johnson to grab a ghost, ignore the Scorpion, goodbye my beloved Phyllis, and head into the tunnels down below. But it turns out ignoring everything has a tendency to bite you in the rear as I get chased down by ghosts, elites, hunters, jackals, and the kitchen sink, or whatever the Covenant equivalent is. Cower in fear and a quarter, desperately trying to not burn through all my ammo. This results in 15 minutes of pain as I get killed by everything imaginable, including an elite that steals my ghost, a jackal, and even a hunter shooting me out of midair like a boss. Burned through almost all of my ammo anyway, rendering my thrift meaningless. There's a ghost to drive, and I use that to head to skip over to the next section. I ignore the final batch of the Marines on the level being chased by those hunters. They'll be fine, they can take care of it, they've shown that off before. And then pay for my hubris immediately by dying to fall damage. I checkpoint back forever ago and do it all again. I snag the active camo and move through the bluff, popping off some grunt heads, only to pay for my hubris again by having some elites stand in the doorway and take health off. Up another elevator to the twin bridges, which I just skipped because I have no idea when the next ammo cache is, and it's onto the rock bridge. I sneak off with a Banshee with disturbing ease considering the trouble I had on my regular run last time on stream, and dive into the hidden cache between the central bridge. Get some ammo back. On top of the period thing, I actually get to shoot a zealot from a distance where its energy sword is less dangerous, as most swords tend to be. I move in, finish the level, and it's off to rescue Captain Keyes. Again. And so I'll have my pistol this time.
What the hell are you doing?
Security to the bridge.
Though, for some reason, they don't fully load it, and there's none at the crashed Pelican nearby. The shotgun is here on easy, in case anyone's ever wondered why there are shells here. The swamp itself is no trouble, as most of the Covenant are busy fleeing, and I feel it's better to conserve my ammo, since I have no idea where any ammo cache for the pistol is on this stage. This is the first level with the shotgun, and you're just going to glue it to your arm for the rest of the game, so why remember other weapons exist at all? Inside the structure, there's more Covenant to ignore, and a Marine that donates his ammo to the cause. I take enough damage along the way to actually use the health pack, skip watching Sergeant Johnson not die for the 6th time, and start my fight against the Flood. While the infection forms die to a sneeze, the Chief has a helmet on, so we instead have to let them pop on his shield or melee them so we don't run through ammo too much. Though circumstances will force us into the occasional shots for chain explosions. Thankfully, Keyes left his pistol behind for us again, so that was nice.
You always put your little head in the...
Things take a turn for the gross when combat forms start jumping in, but for now they lack any guns, so a quick shot to their melee arm will render them armless for now. We charge back through where we came, avoid the shotgun because a gun that does more damage than a rocket launcher isn't the point of this challenge, and start running into combat forms with guns. The pistol is good at shooting their arms off when it hits, but the reticle size is really starting to feel its old limitations, where clean, near-miss shots start missing. And there's really not much else to say as we run through the level. I guess those 3 Marines died. That's something, I guess. At the end, we helped 10 more Marines die, and maybe another Sergeant Johnson too. I wasn't really looking. At the end of this stage, we try and shoot down the Sentinels to make it end faster, because that's the trigger to end the level. This certainly won't come back to bite us in the rear later, as we're teleported over to the library, which is somehow both more painful and less painful than you'd believe. Most people do insane things like playing with weapons good against hordes, like the shotgun and assault rifle, will generally have no issue with this level. It's a slog, yes. When you have what's effectively a sniper rifle with a giant death cone and 60 rounds of death per second, hordes of weak enemies pose no problems. When you have a slow-firing precision weapon, you have to get creative. But God was feeling slippy when he mixed my soup, so I'll have to get creative instead. Since the moment-to-moment gameplay of the library instills dread to this day, here's some highlights. Hiding in a corner behind my best friends blocking shots for me. And really, that's it. The pistol is good for knocking out some distant threats, and combat forms will carry pistols once or twice a floor. Otherwise, it's a straightforward, endless slog, and the less we spend talking about it, the better. Which is somewhat welcome compared to what awaits us at the start of 2 Betrayals. Wait, what the hell was that line in response to? Anyway... Normally, a shotgun and plasma pistol are a decent starting loadout for dealing with the Sentinels, but neither of these are a human pistol, funnily enough. So we have to beat feet and hope they aggro onto the Covenant coming in. This eventually works out after far too many tries, but still makes me confused why everyone loves to focus on the horriblest cyborg running around being no threat to anyone. We get some luck as the inexplicable ammo cache near our start contains a usable pistol and a bunch of ammo packs for it, which we will direly need as the pyramid is rife with Covenant with a zealot sitting at the bottom. Climbing up back is really boring, even with a wraith trying to mortar you the whole time. Murder you all the whole time? Into the Banshee and up top, where I skillfully avoid hurting anything because who knows what's ahead for ammo refreshes. With that clear, it's onto the rock bridge, where I once more confuse myself along the way, then start running through the hallways packed to the walls with Flood and Covenant. Make my way over to the double bridge, learn I can't just skip it. Go to the other end of the Flood bridge to see I can't open that either, and slip on glass. I waste way too much ammo trying to fight across the bridge. A large chunk of it on this one-on-one with the Zealot, where I defy death several times before triumphing with a pounding heart. Jesus, I need a cigarette after that. Thanks, Jesus. See you at church on Sunday. Good guy, that Jesus. Through more hallways and on the bridge, which is even more annoying now. More hallways. I hope you love hallways. And on the ground, where I proceed to ignore everything to make my way to no ammo whatsoever at the Warthog. Grand. Taking that Warthog over the Banshee, I head up to the next generator. A bunch of Flood somehow attacked despite this area being so heavily controlled by the Covenant that it's probably their strongest sector on the map. Also, it's high up in the sky and there's no access point. I give this game a 0 out of 18 for this easily rectifiable mistake. In the next zone, I whittle down my bullets until I'm low enough that Three-Finger Joe can count it on his 9 toes. No one is ever going to get that. This leads to an enormous problem, as the Covenant in the next area have a tendency of killing Flood really easily, and the Plasma Rifle Zealot sticks to the Master Chief's side like he's Cortana. This takes many attempts to get through. I can't go right because there's a Flood there. I can't go left because there's Flood there. I can't try and run through the fight. The Covenant wiped out the Flood. I can't try to skirt around and hop over a rock because there's more Flood on the path forward. With rocket launchers! My ultimate solution was get stupid lucky when I run through like a moron and have it work out somehow. Shooting the golden emu was my lucky charm apparently. With that display of ultimate gamer skill in the past, I get some bloody ammo, use it on some rocket launcher Flood. The first person in recorded history to ever take out these Flood without dying. Nor anyone who did this on Lasso, they're clearly lying. And I get ready to make it over to the final Banshee. The Flood and the Covenant are having an enormous dust up here, which I proceed to bravely ignore and just swipe the Banshee and fly away. There's really nothing stopping me from just jumping into the light at the final point and exploding and ending what will somehow be the 4th most difficult stage. Back on the Truth and Reconciliation again to save Captain Keys again. We could have saved a lot of time if you just let me pop him, Cortana.
What the hell are you doing?
Security to the bridge. The Master Chief has gone rampant. Take him down, boys.
But no, you just had to call me rampant. So we begin with no pistol again, and I have no idea where one can even be grabbed here. Most levels after 343 Guilty Spark don't have human supply caches anymore. You look at the perfectly vertical assault rifle that was missing last time I played this level, then take the plunge into some goop. This should kill me, yet it won't. Quick. None of the flood in the starting area have a pistol, but after way too much time trying to get to the second area, I find out that also doesn't have a pistol. Alright, does the hunter area have a pistol? Nope. Well, running by that, I bravely cower behind some rocks and get a checkpoint before continuing my conscientious objecting through the winding canyons towards the grav lift. I find an overshield I'm not sure I've ever found before. It means there's now more overshields on this level than pistols. I learned that I don't need to actually kill anything at the grav lift before I get lifted up and it's back into the belly of the beast. The tight hallways and weird and terrible checkpoints of the gallbladder of the beast don't go together well. At one point I get stuck on the same lousy checkpoint for a good 20 minutes, and there's still no pistols and barely any Covenant fighting Flood. This results in an absurd situation where, like the only spot they do, I have to run down 3 hallways packed shoulder to shoulder with enemies, like a bloody clown car with how thick they are. Then, despite getting past it on my first attempt in shockingly high shields and about 3-minute lull and anything happening afterwards, I die and get reset back to before the overshield. So I do this over and over and over and over again until one particularly bad run by a grunt manages to kill a combat form that spawned in with a pistol, and I can actually start hurting things about 75% of the way through the level. I'm going to make the last 25% pain for my enemies. Up on the 3rd floor of the hangar, after drowning myself in bloodlust, I notice a spirit dropping off dudes and zoom in to see that you can actually spot them as the Black Armor Spec Ops ahead of time. Neato. Never saw that before. On the top floor, there's not much getting in the way of my well-deserved revenge on Captain Key for making me do almost 2 full levels as a pacifist. Just a giant concentration of Covenant, endlessly spawning Flood, and them fighting in the only hallway up to it. And I have to die before I can get my revenge. So after letting them fight themselves to death, I finally reach Keys and skip the cutscene before the Chief can ruin it by using his big meaty not pistol fist to cave the proto-gyre mine's not fist in. We'll just presume I shot out a giant hole. That looks like a fist. And I wish I had a pistol that shot fists. The Spec Ops attack the bridge, and I highlight the big hero I am until I can run out back to the hangar and steal a Banshee and escape to where I run into more problems than Truth and Reconciliation. So, time for the interesting history part, and one reason why this video took so extremely long to come out, despite the fact that it was recorded ages ago. I did not hit record. Well, I did hit record, but OBS decided to not hit my recording for when I was doing keys. I keep the videos segmented like that because it's easier to break them up later. So, I decided to instead do MS Paint Masterpiece Theater to do this whole stage. And now you're wondering why the heck is there footage up? Well, it's because YouTube apparently allows you to just download your own videos. So I downloaded the stream, cut it up, and put it up. Doesn't mean I can split the audio as much as if I just record it myself, but hey, it works, it works. So you got that squish there with us dunking in the coolant. Man, it makes all that hard work I put on all these masterpieces of everyone and the maps and every single thing so amateurish. But hey, better to actually have the game playing other than my masterpiece of art. The Maw is the final level of Halo Combat Evolved, and it's the other level I'd been writing, because this is where my no running things over rule really comes to bite me in the behind good and bloody. Starting off good, crashing our Banshee and bringing no pistol with us. Thankfully, the first group of Flood have some, and there's some handy dandy sentinels around to burn them down. This is another level where I'll only be able to get ammo off the Flood until I get to the armory at the end. Flood aren't an issue, and sentinels are infrequent and have terrible pathing. The main threat here ends up being the Spec Op Covenant. They love throwing grenades. They love it so much that they want to hug that big blue light themselves and share it with you. Grenades for me, grenades for you, grenades for everyone. More importantly, no pistol ammo for you, and I have to actually clear the bridge before I can advance, which leaves me with one last magazine. Good thing that armory is waiting for me. But this leaves me with the issue of having 20 or so more combat forms stuck in a tiny room right after. In both doors. I have to go through, and not nearly enough ammo to even stun the ones in my way. A few attempts end in my usual failure, and the one even remotely successful one fails to get past the next encounter. Now it's time for some Harbinger cowardice. Harbinger what? I have to lure the combat forms back to the sentinels on the bridge, watch them not fight each other because the guy not attacking is so much more dangerous. Eventually though, through enough body blocking and running around, they kill the Flood whilst trying to kill me, and there's just enough a gap to run through and make to the sweet delicious checkpoint after it all. After this, most of the run through the Pillar of Autumn is perfunctory, since I get more ammo along the way, and head into the armory for my great big sack reward of not a single bloody bullet. Yeah, there's a million assault rifles, rocket launchers, and enough shotguns to win the war single-handedly, but not a single bloody pistol round. I take my frustrations out on Kevin Bacon and head over to the reactor with my grenades to crack open some generators. For some reason, I'm playing this on anniversary graphics. I've long since forgotten why, and just keep running into issue after issue. This would mean the grenades just never bloody wanting to hit. Anniversary graphics, I can see that there's some weird bump in the reactors that blatantly isn't there in classic graphics. Like, what? Why is this here? Everything that can go wrong just keeps getting wrong over and over and over again. Fall damage.
Number 1, destabilizing.
Grenades blowing things up. Dying to random nonsense.
Explosives on the other 3 reactors. That should be enough to trigger a wildcat explosion of the engines.
If it wasn't for one of the early combat forms having a pistol, this would have been a dead-ended right here pronto. Oh, as you should know, since this video came out, I got through it eventually. The solution was my best friend Kevin Bacon showing up and cheering me on. With him in my corner, I successfully pull out the win and make it to the service lift. But that prick Zuka Zamami kills him! So I kill him hardcore right back. And move up to the back half of the raw video. 31 minutes of Warthog run hell. Which starts out even worse because I checkpointed to staring up at the sky at the start of the elevator. Ugh. So right away we have the problem of a bunch of infection forms carpeting the ramp at the start. I have to shoot them all down with the pistol before I can drive up, because boy does Comet Evolve's vehicle physics just kill anything with the lightest of taps. And we fight the sloppy vehicle controls trying to weave between pillars of autumn, while trying to avoid running over every suicidal enemy known to man. Carrier forms that waddle forward, infection form ambushes. Sentinels low-flying and low-ceiling corridors. We have it all. Having to be so cautious means my time is much tighter than usual. When I finally make it to Faux Hammer, it's only been 9 minutes of attempts. Whew, not bad. I rest and let the scene play out because checkpoints here are annoying. I wave goodbye to our bird and gun it down the corridor and I grunt away all stop. Oh, are you kidding me? And just get sent back to the beginning. It takes me another 17 minutes of attempts to finally get back to the Faux Hammer platform, and despite skipping the cutscene this time around, it actually gives me a checkpoint. Go figure. Before that was Lucre's failure after absurdity. Guys jumping right into my path when I'm nowhere near aiming at them. Infection forms glitching through the wall and jumping on me.
The section with the grunts having to be taken slow to avoid hitting them, then right after that, gunning it fast to not hit a bunch of combat forms jumping across the tunnel. Well, with another 5-minute attempts, I make it to the final bit of problem. A whole carpet of infection forms at the bottom of another ramp. Nope. What the hell? Then some combat forms stuck in a tiny tunnel. If I didn't get that pistol at the reactor, I'd have had to book it. But the explosions clear some, I shoot others, and make it to the longsword and victory. Proving that yes, you can beat Halo Combat Evolved with only the pistol. Even on the level the pistol isn't in. As long as you don't count the reactors. Phew. Time to kick back, let the cutscene play, and...
Here we go.
Oh no.
Wouldn't be any cameras.
And you told me you were gonna wear something nice.
Thanks for watching this far. I hope you had some fun. On the right, you can find the link to the first stream of the Pistol Only Challenge for my live grumpiness, and on the left will be a link to the Halo 2 Solo Weapon Challenge, but it posting is just the best video. In the center, you can subscribe if you'd be so kind. Think the challenge wasn't truly a pistol only because of my rule set? Feel free to comment down below or drop a dislike. And if you enjoyed it, please leave a like. But either way, thanks for mezzing around, and can you beat Halo Combat Evolved with only the pistol, and have a good day.